Clark has a new State Farm commercial, and we have major news coming out of the WNBA about this 2026.
The WNBA just lied to your face about player salaries. And while the league is busy playing games with misleading numbers, Caitlin Clark just walked into a commercial and made an NBA legend completely irrelevant. State Farm dropped a new ad featuring future Hall of Famer Chris Paul, and the entire internet is talking about the 10-second cameo from Clark that completely stole the show. This isn't just about a funny commercial. This is a story about a league desperately trying to spin a narrative of progress while its biggest star is proving, day in and day out, that the system is fundamentally broken. And we're going to break down exactly how the league tried to pull a fast one on you, and why players are calling their latest offer lipstick on a pig.
Help with this question.
Allow me to assist.
Dad, are you retiring? Oh, puppy. What's your name, little guy?
Tell me.
Let's get into this commercial because the optics are absolutely wild. State Farm just released their newest ad, and the entire premise is built around Chris Paul, a guy who has been the face of their brand for nearly 2 decades. Since 2008, we've seen him as Jake's buddy. We've seen his fictional twin brother, Cliff Paul. The man is synonymous with State Farm. The ad is supposed to be about his potential retirement. He's 40 years old. Everyone's asking if this is it. But here's the kicker. The entire commercial is a setup for Caitlin Clark to walk in and completely take over. She looks right at CP3 and playfully interrogates him. Is it true? Are you retired? And in that moment, nobody cared about Chris Paul anymore. The internet exploded with one person writing, "Nobody understands how much I love Caitlin Clark State Farm content," in all caps. Another one posted, "New State Farm commercial with Caitlin Clark cameo." By the way, nobody cares if Chris Paul retires. That's the power she has. She can turn a legend's retirement commercial into her own highlight reel without even trying.
Jake, so everyone says you're gonna retire. Is it true? You can tell me.
Is this metal?
Are you going to retire?
But you have to understand this wasn't an accident. This is part of a calculated takeover. State Farm didn't just stumble upon Caitlin Clark. They made a massive bet on her way before anyone else. Back in October 2023, they made her the first college athlete they ever signed to their sports roster. Think about that. This is a company with Patrick Mahomes and Chris Paul on speed dial, and they looked at a college women's basketball player and said, "She's the future." Her first ads were clever, featuring her popping up to shoot a basketball anytime someone said shoot. Then they dropped the brilliant, from the logo campaign, building an entire marketing strategy around her signature move. They are making it crystal clear that she isn't just another athlete on their roster. She is a cornerstone of their entire brand, standing shoulder to shoulder with a 21-year NBA veteran. And that's exactly why the conversation happening behind the scenes about WNBA pay is so D*MN infuriating.
I need a break.
Time for a Big Ten game break. I'm Jenny Taft here with Hawkeye.
Because while Caitlin is out here collecting massive endorsement deals and proving her marketability, the WNBA is in the middle of a nasty contract negotiation where they're being accused of straight-up deception. News broke that the league offered players a new deal with a maximum salary of over $1.1 million. The headlines went everywhere. WNBA players can finally be millionaires. It sounded like a massive victory, a 4-fold increase from the current Supermax. But hold up. When you actually look at the details, it all falls apart. Multiple sources familiar with the negotiations told Front Office Sports that the numbers are completely misleading. That $1.1 million figure, it's not a base salary. It's a fantasy number you can only reach if you hit a series of nearly impossible bonuses. The actual base Supermax salary the league is offering is between $800,000 and $850,000. So how do you get to that magic $1 million number? Listen to this insanity.
Caitlin Clark from the logo.
You know, life would be easier if I could do everything from the logo.
Allow me.
To even have a shot at $1.1 million, a player would first need that maximum base salary. Then they'd have to win the WNBA championship, which adds $20,000. Then they have to win MVP, another $15,000. Make the All-WNBA first team, that's another $10,000. And on top of all that, they have to hit certain revenue-sharing targets. But here's the part they don't want you to know. The current contract already has revenue-sharing targets, and in the entire history of the deal, they have been hit exactly 0 times. Not once. The players see right through this. Sophie Cunningham, a veteran guard, said it perfectly. It sounds good, and they can also have waved a big number in their face. The players' union was even more blunt, calling the league's offer lipstick on a pig. They know it's a PR stunt designed to make the league look good while keeping the real money in the owners' pockets.
Has broken the internet. I'm kind of missed reporting on it yesterday, so we're going to do a little catch-up time here, man. So instead of the WNBA offered a $1.1 million max, Supermax is not what it seems, sources tell Front Office Sports. So from my understanding, I told them to immediately sign this. Now, that's before I read this article. Now, I read a little bit of it. I ain't going to lie to you guys. We're going to go over a majority of it right here in this video. But supposedly, there is like clause in this CBA negotiation. Basically, they have to meet certain criteria to make this one.
And here's the real reason the players are digging in their heels. It's not about that fake $1.1 million number. It's about the percentage of revenue. In the NBA, the players get roughly 50% of all basketball-related income. It's a true partnership. In the WNBA, the players reportedly get a pathetic 9% of league revenue. 9%. This is happening while viewership is shattering records, attendance is through the roof, and expansion teams are selling for hundreds of millions of dollars. And the ultimate poster child for this broken system is Caitlin Clark herself. Next season, her base salary is less than $86,000. Let that sink in. The single biggest driver of revenue and interest in the history of the league. A woman with multi-million-dollar deals with Nike, Gatorade, and State Farm is making a salary that is pocket change compared to the value she brings. She is single-handedly making the league millions, and they're paying her less than a mid-level office manager. This is why the league is in serious trouble, because the players are finally building leverage. While the WNBA stalls, other leagues are popping up to capitalize on the frustration. You've got Unrivaled, the 3-on-3 league founded by superstars Breena Stewart and Nafisa Collier, which gives players another way to make real money in the offseason. And now there's something even bigger on the horizon. Project B. This thing is wild. It's a new international circuit launching in 2026 with reported 7-figure salaries, potentially more than the WNBA's fake max deal. And who are the first players to sign on? WNBPA President Nnek Alexi, Alyssa Thomas, and Jonquil Jones. The players are creating their own exit ramp. If the WNBA doesn't get a fair deal done by the November 30th deadline, everything grinds to a halt. No expansion draft, no free agency, no 2026 season. They are playing a dangerous game of chicken, and for the first time, the players have other places to go. But let's be real, a lot of the anger and chaos in the league right now comes down to one person, Nneka Clark, and it's not her fault. Her own teammate, Lexi Hull, just said the quiet part out loud in an interview, admitting there is a massive level of jealousy aimed at the Fever because of the attention Alyssa brings. She said they hear other teams talking trash in the locker rooms, that there's a target on their backs every single night. And this tracks with everything we've seen since day one. Before she even played a pro game, Cheryl Swoops tried to discredit her records with factually incorrect statements. Diana Taurasi warned her that reality is coming. Breena Stewart said she needs a championship to even be considered great. Instead of celebrating the tidal wave of attention she was bringing to their sport, some of the biggest names tried to tear her down. And all the while, Caitlin has done nothing but show respect, constantly crediting the players who came before her and just handling her business. So there you have it. You have a generational talent in Caitlin Clark who is a marketing machine, single-handedly elevating the entire sport and making legends irrelevant in their own commercials. At the same time, you have a league that's being accused of using deceptive math and PR spin to avoid paying its players what they're actually worth, clinging to a system where players only see 9% of the revenue they generate. This isn't just about a contract negotiation anymore. This is about whether the WNBA is willing to evolve into a true professional league, or if it will let jealousy and greed tear down the most valuable asset it has ever had. So here's the question for you. Drop it in the comments below. Is the WNBA shooting itself in the foot by not building the entire league around Caitlin Clark and paying players their fair share? Or is this just growing pains for a league on the rise? If this breakdown helped you see what's really going on, smash that like button subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell because this situation is about to get even crazier. I'll see you in the next one. But let's be clear, this jealousy doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's a symptom of a much larger disease, a league that has historically forced its players to fight for scraps, creating a scarcity mindset. When a new player comes in and suddenly becomes the tide that lifts all boats, some of the people who have been bailing water for a decade are going to feel some type of way. The blame, however, doesn't lie with them or with Caitlin. It lies with a league structure that has consistently undervalued its own product and its own athletes. And there is no better example of this than the recent, embarrassing saga over charter flights. For years, WNBA players have been begging the league for chartered flights. This wasn't about luxury, it was about safety and performance. Imagine finishing a grueling game at 10 p.m., only to have to wake up at 4 a.m. to navigate TSA, deal with flight delays, and cram your 6'5" frame into a middle seat, all before playing another professional game the next day. Players have been harassed by fans in airports, and their recovery time has been decimated. The league's excuse was always the same: it's too expensive. They claimed it would cost over $20 million a season, an amount they simply couldn't afford. Then Caitlin Clark arrived. Suddenly, the spotlight was brighter. Every time the Indiana Fever were spotted in an airport, it became a national news story, a viral social media moment highlighting the absurdity of the situation. The public pressure became overwhelming. And what happened? The league miraculously found the money, announcing a 2-year, nearly $50 million plan to fund full-time charter travel for every team. This proves one thing: the money was always there. The league just didn't feel the players were worth the investment until their hand was forced by the public relations nightmare created by the attention on their biggest star. It's another case of the WNBA reacting to the Caitlin Clark effect, instead of proactively building a league worthy of her talent. The charter flight money didn't just appear out of thin air, though. It's a preview of the absolute gold rush the WNBA is about to experience, which makes their lowball salary offers even more insulting. The league is currently in the process of negotiating a new domestic media rights deal, and the numbers being thrown around are staggering. For context, their current deal, which expires in 2025, bundles them with the NBA and nets the WNBA a reported $60 million per year. That sounds like a lot, until you realize what's coming. Thanks almost entirely to the ratings explosion driven by off-season Clark, the league is now reportedly seeking a standalone deal worth well over $100 million per year, with some analysts predicting it could go as high as $150 million annually. We're talking about a potential 150% increase in the league's single biggest revenue stream. This isn't just growth, it's a quantum leap in valuation. And who is the primary driver of that value? The players, yet the league is trying to lock them into a new contract before that new media money officially hits the books. It's a classic corporate negotiation tactic. Secure your labor costs at a lower rate right before your revenue skyrockets, ensuring that the massive surplus goes straight to the owners, not the people actually generating the income. The players see this clear as day. They know that this media deal is their golden ticket, their one chance to fundamentally restructure the league's economics, and demand that their 9% sliver of the pie becomes a real, substantial share, just like their male counterparts in the NBA enjoy. And standing right in the middle of this firestorm is WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. Before taking this job, Engelbert was the CEO of Deloitte, one of the biggest accounting and consulting firms in the world. She's a pure numbers and business executive, and it shows in every single interview she gives. When pressed on player pay, she pivots to corporate buzzwords like long-term sustainable growth, building an economic model that will last, and investing in the business. On the surface, this sounds responsible, but what players hear is, "Wait longer, we're not ready to pay you yet." She constantly frames player salaries as a pure expense item on a balance sheet, something to be managed and minimized, rather than an investment in the on-court product. She recently boasted about the league's capital raise of $75 million in 2022, which was used to fund things like marketing and global expansion. But the players are asking a simple question: why isn't the single most important part of the business, the talent, the primary target for that investment? Engelbert's corporate-first mindset is clashing directly with the players' demand for their share of the value they create. She's playing the long game for the owners, trying to maintain the status quo of financial control, while the players, led by their union, are trying to stage a revolution. Her tenure will be defined by this single negotiation, and whether she continues to treat her players like employees of a startup or recognizes them as partners in a booming enterprise. This all boils down to a fundamental philosophical disagreement. Are player salaries an expense or an investment? The league office and the owners clearly see it as an expense, a cost to be contained. Their logic is that every extra dollar that goes to a player is a dollar that doesn't go to profit or other business initiatives. But this is an archaic and self-defeating way to run a sports league. The players and a growing number of fans and analysts see salaries as an investment. When you pay a player a living wage that reflects her market value, she doesn't have to spend her offseason playing in a random league in Turkey or China just to make ends meet. That means she can rest, recover, and avoid the risk of a career-ending injury on foreign soil. It means she can spend her offseason in her home market, building her brand, connecting with the community, and promoting her team and the WNBA. A well-paid, well-rested athlete is a better performing athlete, which creates a better on-court product. A better product draws more fans, higher ratings, and bigger sponsorship deals. This, in turn, generates more revenue for the league, which allows for even greater investment in the players. It's a virtuous cycle. The WNBA's current model is a vicious one, where underpaid players are forced to wear their bodies down year-round, diminishing the quality of the WNBA product and suppressing potential growth. The league isn't saving money by underpaying its stars. It's actively costing itself its own future. And let's not forget the most serious, real-world consequence of this broken pay structure. The reason Brittany Griner was in Russia in the first place was because she, a multi-time WNBA All-Star and champion, had to play overseas to earn a salary commensurate with her talent. A salary that was over $1 million, far more than the WNBA offered. Her wrongful detainment was a geopolitical crisis that stemmed directly from the WNBA's economic failures. The league's inability to provide a sufficient primary income forces its greatest assets into precarious situations abroad. The emergence of Unrivaled and Project B isn't just about giving players extra cash. It's about providing safe, domestic, high-paying alternatives that allow them to stay home. It's a direct response to the systemic risks created by the WNBA's pay scale. This CBA negotiation isn't just about getting a few extra percentage points. It's about creating a league where a player's safety and well-being aren't compromised for the sake of their livelihood. It's about ensuring the next Brittany Griner doesn't have to make that choice. The stakes are incredibly high, and the league is treating it like a standard quarterly budget meeting. They are failing to grasp that this isn't just about money anymore. It's about respect, security, and the fundamental right of labor to be paid for the immense value it creates.